there. Thank you for joining us on a new episode of Tech Trends as we seek out innovation and creativity that are unique to Africa. On the program this week, Finding Tech Against All Odds, a documentary showcasing the personal journeys of some Nigerian youth premieres at the American Corner. And that's a film by Ingressive for Good in collaboration with the U.S. Consulate. Plus, I chat with Abiola Oseni, Chief Technology Officer at Treeset Communications Limited, on the growth of Nigeria's telecommunications sector. Welcome to the program. I'm Olayemi Otunuga. It is difficult to think of a major industry that AI will not transform. This includes healthcare, education, transportation, communications, and agriculture. There are surprisingly clear paths for AI to make a big difference in all of these industries. A tech documentary titled Finding Tech Against All Odds has been premiered by Ingressive for Good in partnership with the U.S. Consulate. The film was screened at the American Corner in Ikeja, Lagos, and it highlights the transformational journey of some Nigerian youth who found tech after their dreams were dashed.
We all know how Nigeria is. It's not even easy to start a career.
I worked as a laborer.
Became a painter, sold popcorn.
Started working at the farm.
I had to pretend that I'm not a graduate.
As highlighted in this documentary titled Finding Tech, these are the struggles some Nigerian youth pass through before achieving their tech dreams. But just like the title, they have found tech against all odds.
Computer scientist has always been a dream of mine.
Software engineer.
A medical doctor.
Computer engineer.
This is the premiere screening of the documentary showcasing the personal journeys of youths who have turned to technology to solve real-world problems in their communities.
When I've drank Gary at home for a month,
I started Googling, where can a mass graduate work?
I just went there because
I was financially fighting for my life.
I was left with no option actually.
The film was produced by EdTech non-profit Ingressive for Good in partnership with the U.S. Consulate.
Like Ingressive for Good, the U.S. Consulate and the U.S. government believes in the power of technology to transform people's lives, to provide them with skills, to provide them with job opportunities, and to help them realize their dreams. And we are all in the business in one way or another, government or entrepreneurs, charities or philanthropic organizations in the business of fulfilling dreams. And you saw many examples of that today, and I was inspired as well, and I look forward to using this documentary as a source for not just inspiration, but as a playbook for how we can then start engaging with more and more young people around Nigeria and around the continent of Africa so that we can do more of these and create more communities of success and more communities of prosperity like we're already seeing done through technology.
The film zooms in on the struggles, triumphs, and impact of young individuals who have built their tech skills to drive change. For the film's producer and co-founders of Ingressive for Good, it is important to share the stories to inspire the next generation of problem solvers.
It's the story of transformation of some of the African youths that have gone through an Ingressive for Good program, how they persevered across different challenges that they faced to get and find tech, and then now that they found tech, how their lives have completely changed. So that was really interesting for us to tell.
We want to pass a message of hope. We want to pass a message of opportunity. We want to pass a message of access. Again, hope is not the thing that I like to peddle or I like to push so much, because hope by itself it can lead to great despair. But again, when you combine that hope with opportunities and just give them the tools, just give people the tools they need. These are the type of opportunities that you see. So we wanted to get people excited about technology, we wanted to get them excited about our organization, and we want people excited about technology and pushing and ensuring that the future technology that we see in this world has Africa's fingerprint on it.
The beneficiaries of the program speak on how their lives were transformed through tech.
the journey was interesting. Not because there was no challenge or anything, but because it is something I want to do. Something I could put my hands to do. Creating a solution that I do by myself. And I put it out there and it works. So that's why it's interesting. If I would say the other part, the journey has been overwhelming. Because at some point, I didn't have a laptop. And at that time, I just had to make do with what I had.
It's overwhelming at some point. There was a point I actually gave up. I gave up totally. Like I said, I wasn't going to continue. But the community, Ingressive for Good community, they were always there to reach out. Like, how has it been for you? So all that kept me going. I had to, come back. Even after I went here, it was really heartwarming for me due to the love and support I got from the Ingressive for Good community.
It was unique. The training with Ingressive for Good was unique because prior to that time, I've not done anything tech before. I have not done anything product design, so it was a bit challenging at first. That was when I didn't have the laptop. But the instructor was actually very, very good. She was very, very good because it was very easy for me to blend. It was easy for me to adapt because the teachings were actually very great. So when the laptop came, wow, I was so happy. It made it a lot easier.
Technology has a limitless potential to improve lives and drive positive change. And this documentary, Finding Tech, showcases how youth can make a difference by leveraging their tech skills. Bolaji Fatai has never set foot in an airplane, but that hasn't stopped him from building his own remote-controlled model aircraft from scrap found in dump sites and sending it soaring over the sprawl and chaos of Lagos. On a recent cloudy day, the single propeller plane withstood crosswinds high above a sandy football field and swooped low over the heads of onlookers in Oboroshoki, the neighborhood where Fatai lives.
I started this when I was 7. I started picking things around, making some little projects, and even I built cars before, but my focus was on airplanes because whenever I see airplane fly, it gives me a very overwhelming joy.
He starts by dusting and cutting styrofoam into his desired shape. He bought the propeller and remote control in a shop, but constructed the body, wings, tail and fin from pieces of recycled styrofoam gathered in dump sites and held them together with sticky tape.
I'm a self-taught engineer. I didn't learn it from anyone. I learned it on my own, through my research that I did online on the internet.
The wingspan is about 1 meter, and he saved money for 2 years before he could buy the propeller and remote control.
Our country is an underdeveloping country, so I hope to be the part of the person that will develop the country using this my drone technology.
Fatai's labor of love is now propelling his dreams as a tech company gave him an internship after he was spotted piloting the plane, an important first step towards his goal of becoming an aeronautical engineer. Mechanical engineers at the Robotics and Mechanisms Laboratory of the University of California in Los Angeles have developed a full-size humanoid robot with first-of-its-kind technology. Standing at 4 feet, 8 inches tall and weighing 85 pounds, Artemis, meaning advanced robotic technology for enhanced mobility and improved stability, is capable of working on rough and unstable surfaces with a particular focus on bipedal locomotion. It can also play soccer. Student researchers have been testing the robot on regular walks around the UCLA campus, and they're also developing the Artemis running and soccer playing skills. It all started with Darwin, which stands for Dynamic Anthropomorphic Robot with Intelligence.
One of the first robots that we built is called Darwin. Darwin stands for Dynamic Anthropomorphic Robot with Intelligence. This robot is a fully autonomous robot. It's a fully open source robot for research and education. Can you turn it on, Kyle? Okay, so what you see right now, we're not remote controlling it. Okay, you can put it on the ground. So currently it's programmed to play a game of soccer. So you can see that it's following the ball, right? So, hey, Darwin, gonna kick the ball. Okay, left foot. There you go, good job. So a lot of people ask, humans with robots coexisting, living together, when would that come? I think we have a long way to go, but at the same time, it's already happening now. I don't know if you have one of those robot vacuum cleaners. Those are robots, if you think about it, right? So what's a robot? If we have three things, we call them a robot. Sense, plan, act. Sense, sensors that gather information from the outside world. Plan, a computing system that makes decision. Act, physical things that make it move, lift things or walk or move around. If you have sense, plan, act, we call it a robot.
Dennis Hung, Professor of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering and Director of Romela, says his team is planning to have Artemis ready to unveil its full soccer capabilities at RoboCup in France in July.
We've been world champions 5 times. That was 8 years ago. I think it's about time for us to come back to a RoboCup with Artemis. So this year, July in Bordeaux, France, RoboCup 2023, we're bringing Artemis and we're going to kick some balls.
Artemis has been clocked walking 2.1 meters per second, which would make it the world's fastest walking humanoid robot, according to UCLA researchers. The robot's major innovation is that its actuators devices that generate motion from energy were custom designed to behave like biological muscles. They are springy and force-controlled as opposed to the rigid position-controlled actuators that most robots have. Romela student Justin Kwan says his personal goal is engineering robots that improve people's lives.
I want to build things that sort of help improve people's lives. People who are struggling, medical robots, that's sort of the thing that I want to do. So seeing these robots, helping push the robot technology to that next level is really rewarding, because you're like, oh, the dream, it gets closer.
Professor Hung has a similar goal.
I have a dream. In the future, I would like to live with robots. Robots in the home, doing the dishes, taking out the trash. How cool would that be? But I claim that for robots to be living with us in this environment, the robot needs to be human shape and human size, or humanoid robots, because this environment is designed for humans. Like when you climb upstairs, the step height is such because for humans to walk up, or the door handle is a certain height for humans to open up. So unless the robot is a humanoid robot, it won't be able to navigate this environment.
Another major advance is that Artemis actuators are electrically driven rather than controlled by hydraulics, which uses differences in fluid pressure to drive movement. As a result, it makes less noise and operates more efficiently than robots with hydraulic actuators. And it's cleaner because hydraulic systems are notorious for leaking fluids. Nigeria has one of the largest telecommunication markets in Africa, which has seen strong growth in recent years. With the efforts of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, the telecom sector has benefited from regulatory measures aimed at improving infrastructure to boost the country's broadband sector. My guest, Abiola Hosseini, a senior network engineer and chief technology officer at Trisat Communications Limited, speaks on the growth and areas in need of interventions in the industry.
I think since 2001 to date, the telecom industry has contributed immensely to the Nigerian economy. Most importantly, shortly after COVID, when the whole world has gone digital, this era of digital transformation We have seen that the telcos are the enabler for digital economy. They provide us all sort of services ranging from voice, data, then other value-added services like text messages, OTT, and the likes of it. So statistics has also shown that between that 2001 till 2023, the telco industry has produced over 500,000 formal and informal jobs. All right. So these are metrics that can let us clearly see how the telecoms industry has contributed to the growth of the economy.
And how has the sector grown over the years?
The sector has grown quite a lot. We remember that in 2001, the total number of lines we have in Nigeria was about 400,000. Now we have over 90 million subscribers over all the 4 major telcos, right? So this has shown you that this is over over 2,000 growth, and putting everybody on a digital highway where we could transact businesses, we could do everything. And you can also look at it the way they have powered most of the innovations in different sectors, like the banking sector. We now have online banking, internet banking, mobile app. You could see what has happened even in government agencies like immigration, like police character commission and all of that. They all have gone digital, where things are now registered online, including JAMB and all of that. So practically, you can see that there's so much growth in the industry. And if we also look at it from investment point of view, from 2001 to 2023, we've seen over $70 billion investment in Nigeria from the telco industry. So this is huge. This is quite huge. It's one industry that we all need to applaud for doing their things the right way. Yep.
Of course, there's so much going on in the telecommunications industry, but what would you say is driving this growth?
They are one of the telcos who made over 2 trillion naira in revenue in 2022. And their data showed us that voice is one of the headline revenue item in the revenue, total revenue, and that is voice, me and you making calls to each other. And that was almost 665 billion naira. But however, another surprising one that we got was the data. Their second line item was data. And it got 763 billion naira in revenue from data. Something that in 2021 record, we had about 561 billion. And in 2020, we had about 363 or 333 billion as revenue. Now look at it from 2020 as against 2022, you can see almost 22% increase. That's about 330 something billion to about 763 billion. It shows that data is driving the growth. It shows that as people are beginning to register and doing things online, banking transactions online, I hear you talking from in the studio with digital technology like Zoom and the likes of it. It shows that the demand for data is going to increase. And let me shock you, from the projection that they made with the rollout of 5G in 2023, this particular telco is saying that the revenue for data is going to hit 1 trillion naira at the end of this year. So what does that tell you? It means that we are now in the digital era. Everything is powered digitally. You know, even our music that we listen to is streamed online. Even the artists don't really need to bother about pirates anymore, because you now have streaming platforms here and there that stream their music or their art, and they make a lot of money from it. So the telcos are driving the digital economy amazingly, and data is one of the things that is making them to grow very fast, and 5G is going to even create more exponential growth.
Which areas do you think are in dire need of interventions within the sector?
Well, I think one of the hindrances that telcos are having in deepening broadband penetration across the entire country is right of way, and the right of way, unfortunately, the power resides with the state governments, So obviously, the state governments are also seeing that the digital economy is here, and some of them have relaxed their rules, and they have made it easy for them. A state that we know quite well concerning that includes Edo State, I think Lagos State, and some other states. where they've already created infrastructure for the providers to run their fiber optic cables, those underground cables, and they have also reduced the tariff per kilometer, for them to be able to, spread this technology. The fact still remains that the urban region and the suburban region are the ones benefiting from most of these interventions. However, the industry is also evolving, with new players coming into play and having to do something they call QoS offsets, where the providers actually offload certain traffic to them for them to create a last mile through wireless to rural areas, and underserved area generally. So, however, all these things needs to be strengthened. The state government needs to relax their rules and make sure that they give these telcos all they need to spread the technology faster and deeper. If the providers and the state government have very good relationship, definitely the broadband penetration is going to increase, and the innovation that 5G is going to bring about in this 21st century is going to be spread across the whole region, both the urban, suburban, and the rural areas.
Now let's talk about the Nigerian Communications Commission, which is the regulator responsible for the telecom industry. How has it ensured that the quality of service provided by telecom operators stay top-notch?
Yes, it's been amazing. I think about 2014, I could remember when they built some transmission stations across most of their offices in different zones, and they are using that to actually monitor the quality of service across all the base stations, in all those zones. And I must say they've done a very fantastic job by making sure that many metrics are put in place for them to measure quality of service. One of them is call setup success rate. Today, as of May 2022, the provider with the least call success rate is Nine Mobile, which is about 97%. Even that 97% is quite a lot, but they are the least, So if the least could be about 97%, then you could talk about the rest of the telcos delivering 98%, 99%. So these days we've seen that call rate is actually, improving. We also have another metric that they call drop call rate. Drop call rate means that before I and you finish the conversations, the signal is just terminated, without me and you putting an end to the conversations. You could notice that these days it has reduced significantly, and we could see that the least among them is about 0.4%, which is quite impressive. And there are so many other metrics that they use to measure this quality of service. And if you go to their website, you get all this data, which shows that NCC is actually putting the telcos on their toes and also making the information available for the consumers, and also for many other any other need for such data.
Well, that was such an insightful conversation with you, Abiola. Thank you so much for joining us on Tech Trends.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Yemi.
Well, that's all we have for you on our lineup this week. Thank you for staying with us. As always, Tech Trends is here to share insights, trends, and developments happening within the tech space. If you missed any parts of the program, you can always catch up on the channel's TV YouTube account, where we have all of our episodes, and I encourage you to watch, share, and like your favorite editions. For Tech Trends, I'm Olayemi Utunuga. I'll see you next time.